Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until our country's representatives can figure out what the hell is going on.
Donald Trump last week with a statement that was heard round the world suggesting our nation stop all Muslim immigration for the time being. Continuing now on Newsmax Prime, a lot of folks said he made that announcement to reinforce a strong position on national security. But our next guest has a little different idea, and his reasoning might just surprise you. For more, let's welcome in noted author and political commentator Doug Wead. Doug served as a former special assistant to President George H.W. Bush. He Skypes in from Virginia. And Doug, you say that statement was the byproduct of, quote, panic in the Trump camp. Explain your take on this.
Not panic now, but panic then. Yes, on December the 1st, Sally Quinn, who's the widow of Ben Bradley and a talented journalist, she interviewed Ben Carson. She asked him if he believed in a literal hell. He said no, he didn't believe in that. Well, Ben Carson was a favorite of evangelical Christians. And if you Google how many Americans believe in hell, you'll see an astonishing 61% believe in a literal hell. Probably Ben Carson does too now. And 87% of evangelicals which populate the Iowa caucus. So Ben Carson collapsed like a balloon losing air, and those voters didn't show up for Huckabee and Santorum and others who appealed to the evangelical votes. They went almost exclusively to Ted Cruz. So Donald Trump's campaign was confronted with a massive surge by Ted Cruz, a collapse of Ben Carson, and the very likely possibility that Cruz would win the Iowa caucus, may still, and Trump would have to fight for a comeback in New Hampshire, and Cruz would win again in South Carolina and perhaps win the nomination. So there was kind of panic in Donald Trump land for those few days, and 7 days later, Trump came out with his announcement. He had to come up with something big enough to grab the headlines, and that's a bar that's pretty hard for him to meet because he's already had so many controversial statements and positions. So this was the one that blew the whole Cruz-Carson dynamic out of the water and put Trump back on the front pages and back at the top of the polls.
Well, that is an interesting theory, Doug, and we appreciate you sharing it with us. I might take polite exception rather than a panic, a necessary emphasis in restating one's strategy. But nonetheless, we thank you for that inside story. Doug Wead, Skyping in tonight from Virginia. Now, whatever happened, Donald Trump must be doing something right. Want you to take a look at the results as you have sent them in, reacting to last night's Republican debate. Donald Trump leading far and away with 77%, Ted Cruz at 14%, Marco Rubio at 3%, and you see the other candidates there. There is still time for you to vote to let us know which candidate you think won last night's debate. To do so, go to newsmaxpolls.com. That'll do it for tonight. Stay brave, stay free, stay tuned.